Today, Tom Germann, sales representative at Apex Results Realty, located in Burlington, Ontario. Video log number 6. So we've been listed now for over a month. We've had no people come through. We've done the adjustment down in price, and it was not as much as I would have originally done. But when we all came out, it ended up being more than I would have done. So we're now listed where I would have listed the property originally. That's fine, not a problem. We are for sale or for lease. Pressure's building up. It's difficult, especially when I come back from a weekend away doing reserve training, and I've caught some sort of a virus, so I am sick as a dog. But that's okay. My job every morning is to do the wipe down of the property, make sure everything looks beautiful, and walk out the door so the place is ready to show. Now, at the moment, I've got 3 people who are looking at the property. I'm taking some people through for leasing. And what they're doing is they're saying, they're interested in leases, not purchasing right now. So no problem. What I'm seeing is more people coming out of the woodwork regarding leasing as we're getting closer to what would have been the lease date. We're flexible on the actual date they would take possession, but people who are looking to lease are not necessarily looking at the property 90 days out. If you want to purchase a property, when you go to buy, most people do not buy within 2 weeks. They're not buying within a month. They're going anywhere from 60 to 120 day out closing. So people who want to lease, some are looking, getting a preliminary idea because they know they want to move, or whatever their circumstances, they know they're changing. So they're looking for maybe a month out. In fact, I've seen it. I've actually done it where someone came in and said, well, I'd like to lease, circumstances have changed. How's 12 days? So you never know. So hopeful. The price for the lease is not bad. The list price is not bad either in my view as a realtor, given that we back onto parkland and the recent comparable sales for properties that have backed onto Erin Mills Parkway. Now here's what I'm seeing. There's been a little bit of a shift in the real estate market. At $365 with a condo fee, first-time buyers are willing to stretch themselves that a little bit further. It's a bit of a guess on my part, and I've seen it now with 1 or 2 people coming through. $315 a month for condo fee, external maintenance, they do the roof, they cut the grass, snow removal, salting, things like that, no water bill. Not quite as attractive for people. They don't see the long-term benefit of paying a little over $3,600 a year. So what they're doing right now is, not just right now, but I think we're at a price point where over a certain price point, people would stretch themselves. $300 is approximately $50,000 in mortgage. So if you can make it to 4, you can probably make it to 425 or 430. So people are stretching themselves. They're not buying in our nice area. To get yourself a detached house, they're heading a few minutes north, and they're getting a single car garage, 3 bedrooms, 1.5, maybe 2 bathrooms, and they're content with that. And it's detached. Now they also don't realize the utility bill will be higher, property taxes are higher, and they will be running the furnace earlier in the year than we do. We are quite toasty warm until the end of November. In fact, yes, end of November is the earliest we've ever turned on the furnace. I think 1 year we did it December 19th. So if you don't run the furnace, you save on the utilities, but neither here nor there is what we have right now. So people are not willing to stretch themselves. Well, rather, they're not willing to have a fixed cost where they see no real benefit to it. My wife and I walked in. We were both working. We had no children. We saw a townhouse, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms with a private ensuite, a small finished rec room in the basement, which was quite nice, nicely laid out. And we said to ourselves, we can move into this and we can have kids here. You can grow into this house. It was a child-friendly little complex, 51 townhouses. There were 4 or 5 houses worth of kids running around on the Sunday, not in the street, just running around the back. That was fine. It was great. But today, the way prices have gone, you want to pay $350 for a condo, or you want to pay $420 for not a townhouse, for a detached. Now, if you want to be in our area, if you can stretch yourself to, I think, $450, $475, you can get yourself one of the smaller semi-detached. Now, that's also not going to be nicely finished. It is going to need work, but you can get into our neighborhood for that price point. So it appears some people are doing that. Now, the other thing I noticed, and this is just recently, is the market has gotten soft. Now, everyone has been screaming. Screaming's not the word. I think everyone's tired with the media and the panicking and the stress and the fear, because you can only live with fear for so long before you sort of shake your head and say, all right, what's going to happen now? So instead of real fear, what's happened is I believe the market's gotten a little bit soft because of the good weather and because the bank's been good enough, or rather the government's been good enough, to tighten their restrictions a little bit on mortgages. The government tightens them a little bit. The bank says, let's get a little stricter than the government regulations right now, just for safety. Early on, there were two different buyers who were looking to purchase the property. And some of the comments made by the purchaser's agents at the time did not make a lot of sense. Excuse me. We have to go to the bank to make sure all our ducks in a row. I wasn't dealing with the buyer. I was. My buyer had already purchased. Everything is done. We were closing in less than a month. There's no problems, no complications. My clients were locked in for their rates and everything was good. And they were well qualified for the property they purchased. Looking back now, that's around the time when the bank started tightening up their controls just that little bit. So if you were good for a townhouse at, say, $380, or a purchase price of, well, our price, period, with the condo fee on top of that, before, if the banks tighten up just a little bit, that can shave off just a bit. And that just a bit could be $15,000 of cash, which you do not have to put down. So one of them never came back, and the other buyer actually went off and purchased something different, a completely different property, which was a townhouse, but the complex is not as nice. It's larger. There's more rentals. I've been through that complex. It's it needs more maintenance. It needs definitely more maintenance than ours does. And the unit itself they got was a little bit smaller and did not offer as much. Condo fee is the same. Purchase price is definitely less. And that tells me now, looking back, hindsight's 2020, they were good to go to buy ours. After the change, they were not good to go to buy ours. And because of that, they may have even said, we're going to tighten up some more on our own. I understand that. The fear is always, what if we buy this property for top dollar and then the market crashes? We lose 85% of our value. Or instead of paying $1,700 a month to the mortgage, you're now paying $3,000 to the mortgage. And that puts the brakes on a lot of people's passion when they're purchasing. I'm not that concerned about it right now. We are well set up to purchase our property. Regarding leasing or buying, whichever one happens, that's fine. Because of the way the market has shifted a little bit, and these are small shifts that you, as the general public watching, you're not going to see unless you're actually in the experience, unless you're involved in the transaction right now, and you're noticing that little bit of a tightening that the banks are doing. If you were pre-qualified before, you're qualified for more, you may not even notice it. You can purchase $450, you're looking under $380. Oh, well, the bank's just my max. No impact on you. So, as it stands right now, the family's feeling stressed. I've got this wonderful virus, which is keeping me kind of flat right now. I'm trying to get sleep and do what I can for it. There's nothing else I can do. The children are starting to act out a little bit because it's been rough on them. It's always rough on the kids. It's always rough on the family, and not necessarily rough on the realtor. We take the step back. I'm not selling my property. I'm selling my client's property. And I understand and have empathy for everything they're going through, but I don't lie awake staring at the ceiling at night, wondering if my realtor is doing everything he can, or questioning why 5 different buyers who came through haven't purchased my property. What I'm seeing is, well, unfortunately, I am the realtor. I am also the owner. That is putting the burden on myself even more. Excuse me there. So I need to be aware of that. Now, buyers, they're coming through. They're looking at the property. Some of these buyers, because of the way the market has shifted that little bit, and because of the fear of a real estate bubble, and there is still some of that going on, 2 of the buyers who came through the property had not even listed. They've got apartments or some sort of property on their own, and they have to sell first. But they wanted to see what's on the market, what can they get for their dollar. And they haven't come back because, honestly, I don't know. Even break, one of them is off the market and said, I'm going to live here where I am. I can afford this, and I'm going to pay it down more. I do not want as much uncertainty. The other one is probably listed, and it's waiting for an offer, and we'll go in with a nice, clean offer, conditional on finance, inspection, insurance if necessary, possibly condo certificate, and we'll purchase that. And I'll be a bit more aggressive with their negotiating. So that's what we have. What else can I tell you? Oh, the wife is getting irritated. The previous times we've sold, we've had an offer relatively quickly, both times. I was not the listing realtor at that time. I was not in real estate all those years ago. And all my wife remembers is, I listed and I sold in a few days. The second time. The first time it took us about 2 or 3 weeks. The other thing she's not realized is everything I'm doing around the house in the day. One spouse may not. I'm letting her get off to work. She has to leave early. She comes home late. I take care of wipe down. I take care of the kids. I'll take care of meals if and as necessary to the best of my ability. As time goes on, one of the things that people start doing, usually sellers, if they're not seeing what the realtor is doing, they'll start blaming. So I've already looked at her a few times and said, you're going to start blaming me for everything not going right. We paid too much for the property we wanted to buy. There's all these different things that are going to go on. And it's going to be, well, why is this not working out? Why do we not have an offer on either side? And I try to explain the difference here for myself. I'm the realtor and the husband. So when you're in that situation, the wife is not viewing me as a professional realtor. She's looking at her husband, who she sees wanting to sleep in on the weekend, and saying, get out there and sell my property. Do it. Come on, hurry up. Rewire it. I can't say anything to that. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it. I'm doing everything I can. We are a cookie cutter, which I prefer to sell versus those special, unique properties. Cookie cutters are the townhouses. They're the standard detached house on the street. They're not the unique property that has all sorts of special features that will take that 1 in 1,000 buyer. I've had those. I tend to get more of those than I get the unique or the non-unique cookie cutter type property. So everything's been done that can be done. And at this point, I'm going to head home. We've not had a sign to this point. However, the wife has now said that we must have a sign as family became involved. And I'm waiting for the next round of, this isn't my fault, to go through. So, hope you're doing well. I hope you can take care of yourself and enjoy the nice weather we're having. It's getting a little bit more rainy, and it's probably a good thing to help cool it down. And also, let's be honest, the grass needs it. So you take care. I'll talk to you later on. Bye-bye.